Woman. Oh yeah, you son of a bitch. Hey. Spring has sprung and love is in the air. It's a time when people look at each other and they say, that's the love of my lifetime, and they meet and they fall in love. You're like, wow. I don't know what her face looks like. It may be like Lena the hyena underneath that veil, but her eyes, her beautiful eyes. I know exactly, it was 6 feet apart. I know exactly how far apart. How are people gonna fall in love? Then we need some, I have an anniversary of pain. This is about love. I woke up from a nightmare this morning and I thought, well, I guess that's the start of the day. And I thought, why am I dreaming about her? That was like 18 years ago. It was. And I remembered, because today is the day that we met. And for some reason, I have an anniversary of pain in my heart, maybe, I had a dream about like a way long ex, and I'm like, why? And I'm like, oh, it's the day we met. I'm like, why am I being reminded of her from when I'm sleeping? I didn't even start the day yet, and that's the first thing, the dream you're giving me before I get in there. I know, there's a lot of stuff that says don't pay too much attention to dreams, but I think this one is useful because it's very direct. Well, I don't know what it means, but I kind of know what it means. I was in my father's house, and the ex-girlfriend was there, and I said, get out of here, I don't want you coming around here, take all your stuff. Like, she lived there in my father's house or something like that. Maybe that means my heart or whatever. So I kicked her out and I said she couldn't live there, and I yelled her out of the place, and I woke up with that, and I was like, this is about my back pain and all that stuff again, hernias and all that shit. No, it's the day that I met her. Some people have an anniversary of pain. I should explain this up front. Some people have an anniversary of pain from like a tragic event. They lost a loved one, they almost died, something, usually a trauma, all right? And that's an anniversary of pain. Oh, this was the day that Martha died or whatever. Martha was my mom? Your mom's name was Martha too? Wow, come here. That's Batman and Superman. Anyway, in the movies, porno movies. So no, I don't know what the hell I was talking about anymore. Let me get my ice cream. So this is also part of my like dating profile thing, because I have ice cream. Oh, and this is the part where I'm trying to impress women. When you're in times like this and everybody's trapped inside, I remember to get little things like this so that it doesn't seem like much, but it just adds something, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't have like $1 for sprinkles through this. You don't even want to know what's in here that I'm calling ice cream, all right? I'm calling it my dirt ice cream thing because I put dirt in it. Oh God. I'm trying to get used to it. So, some people have an anniversary of pain, some horrible stuff that happened to them. I have an anniversary of pain from the day I met somebody. Here's why I know the day I met them. Because we used to celebrate it every year, because this is a long-term relationship. Not a wedding anniversary, this is a long-term relationship. We used to celebrate the day that we met, so I didn't forget it. I didn't usually think about it, but I woke up with it today. Hey, remember? You met Bozo like 18 years ago and it was horrible for her too. Being fair. For years. So, I thought maybe, and this is a silver lining, maybe that means I've moved on. Because I kicked her out of my father's house in a dream. And what could mean more to me than my father's house? That means something to me in terms of Planet Daddy issue and call your father and all that stuff. It means a lot to me in that way. So, other things can I say about love? Let me tell you something about me. This would be part of my dating profile. For the last 15 years, I was really interested in sustainability to the point where I helped co-found an international nonprofit organization so that people could create self-sufficient family homesteads, and it wasn't the Global Eco Village Network, which is a thing. This wasn't that. This is just to do what I always say on this channel. You know, that men and women were made for each other and stay together. That wasn't part of the platform. This is just more about growing food sustainably so that countries could take care of themselves. And when I learned how easy it was to create food supply with not much, I was like, everybody should have this. If things get really bad like they say they're gonna do, because Brzezinski, Brzez, God bless you, Gesundheit, all that stuff, all those guys, Alright, and God bless you, by the way. Planet Daddy issue. Why did I tell you to call your father? Because the people who are the richest people in the world spend all their money to make evil stuff happen. That's like all the stuff the devil wants and does. That's not just why. But I mean, when you have a thing like the CERN Hadron Collider, here he goes again. Why did they have an €8 million show like that where a guy with a goat mask rails Lady Gaga and she gets pregnant and bears Moishi from Where the Wild Things Are? Ta-da! That was the end. Did you like the show? We spent €8 million for this one-time only performance for you because you built the longest underground tunnel in the world that delivers supplies to the place that biblically is represented as the portal to Abaddon in Switzerland. That's a Hadron Collider. Maybe not the only one. That's the weird one. And the thank you letter looked like devil shit. So why can't you accept that it's Planet Daddy issue when every movie you watch is about destruction of the father and the patriarchal society and the man? That's why. I tell you all the time. Look at all the stuff I've said for years. I don't know if it's funny anymore to joke with the shoulder pads and all that stuff. I'm like, Mad Max that's bullshit. Nobody wants that. But that's what all the movies and TV shows are about. You have a decade now of Walking Dead, and again, thanks Japan, Battle Royale. And Battle Royale leads to Hunger Games, and Hunger Games leads to all those shits that come after it. The Maze Runner, the 100 Maze Runners, and then all those other things that are just like basically Hunger Games, like there's not enough for everybody, like Fortnite. So it's Battle Royale. Put everybody on an island and they have to kill each other until one person wins. It's just a mindset that breeds like, don't take care of each other, don't look out for each other. All of our most basic impulses, which are to be good and help each other, that's what needs to shine. If you're gonna pray, and I'm not gonna go into a thing you don't like if you don't like it, but if you are a praying type, pray to make it fail. Can't the good guys have a win? How many years have we been talking about this stuff, and now it's unfolding, and they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do that, and everybody is told, lots of people have talked about movies, not just me and Jay's analysis that I always send you to. Lots of people talk about Dave's Collative Learning, Dave Eggers, all those, there's a bunch of channels that talk about the themes in movies and stuff like social engineering, and they know about this stuff better than me. I'm definitely more of an entertainer than an intellectual, but some people can manage both. At least I'm not chewing gum right now, but it doesn't matter. Look, I have this. It's Luke Skywalker in a Bacta tank from my last container of sprinkles. Does that mean my seed is spilled with sprinkles? You'll only know when I spill it, after our wedding night, or on it, or whatever. But anyway, I need a drink, alright? What do you think of the end? Yeah, that's my mug. Should I have it below in a Teespring thing? We can get a plastic inferior version of something that would be too expensive to ship because it's heavy. It's like a diner mug. But anyway, the end. Done. So what do you think about love? What do I always say in this channel? Men and women were made for each other. You need who to be, who to find for peace on earth for all mankind. The world could change so fast if people could pair up and build something in a lifetime instead of staying home at Minecraft. And now, nobody can go to GameStop to do whatever it was that you would go to get there. That's done. And it makes people feel terrible, and that's what they want. And we said that they would do these things, now they're doing these things, like all at the same time. And then I also said, yeah, well, over the next 10 years we'll be rocking and rolling, and yeah, we are. But I want this one to fail. I mean, do you know what they went and did at school when all the kids were at home? Yeah, they went fixing their internet connections and all that stuff. And boy, is it a lot of baloney, which is the understatement of the millennium. Boy, is that a baloney what they're doing to the school to make their internet connection better, or whatever you call that. This is how you pray. I know you know what I need and what I'm going to pray for before I pray it, but Father, please sincerely and truly hear me just the same. Make this one fail. Can't the good guys have a win? We've been so vigilant talking about all this stuff for so long, and they threw a whammy on us. Can I say power grab, or do I have to call it a PG because algobots are going to look up to anybody that says power grab has to be deleted. You can't let that be seen or whatever. Look, can't the good guys win? Why won't you call your father? That's all he wants you to do. He wants you to call him. You have no idea. You're so fearful now. If you had any idea what the ending to this was, if you risked your life to make sure people were saved. Imagine a scenario in your building. There's an old lady you know that nobody likes, and she's going for the last day or two. Please, I'm stuck underneath my dresser. I tried to move furniture to barricade my door and I can't get out. Now, everybody knows they could help her, and it's been like a day or a day and a half, so she's not getting any healthier there. She's probably shit herself. She probably fell wearing a diaper. just go help that lady. Go wear a garbage bag over, whatever it is. Tear eye holes so you can whatever. Just breathe, get over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the worst thing that could happen? That you would do the right thing in a time of crisis, and then you would die from it and go to heaven, or fall asleep until you're, you know, awake in heaven and kingdom of eternity or whatever, by being a good guy, by doing the right thing and not being a shit. They've given us a decade of, I didn't finish all the movies, Walking Dead, Hunger Games, all that stuff, and along with it, what else do they like? Harry Potter and broomsticks, go to witches' school, grow up with that. It's nonsense. Superheroes, all these other heroes, everything to draw away from God the Father and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. What more do we need? It's where we live. That's our Dragon Ball Z, Goku, Spirit Bomb energy supply. That's what we go to. Our Father who created this whole place for us, this whole planet, for us to steward. Men and women together, staying together, to have a piece of land and grow a family and be happy, and whole neighborhoods full of like that on the whole planet, and doing what you do, and everybody has a home-based business, unless they don't want to, and they want to work with other people. And it's not the technotronic era. It has nothing to do with any of that nonsense where everybody's miserable all the time and everybody has to keep, hey, what's a human torsion field? Oh, it's like 6 feet. Okay, keep people 6 feet away from each other so they can just watch shit and we'll tell them how to be, and they can't interact anymore. All this stuff about the social distancing, that's in there. That's in all those books that none of us read, that we know about. All right? So it's not funny anymore. I think about stuff like this, the blue rations, and I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I feel weird about the shoulder pads. Mad Max is some nonsense. I don't want that to happen. Do you want that to happen? Do I want to need nanite shoulder pads because of all the disgusting stuff? Here's what I want you to think about bioweaponry and technology and all those things. If you do believe in a planet, if you do believe in God, why can't he squash all this stuff? He made everything. Whatever they're trying to do this extra horrible, and just make it squash. I feel like this should be a time for the good guys to win. Don't you? Like, ceaseless prayer, petitionary prayer. Please, Father, squash this stuff. We don't want kids going to school and having their brains turned into jelly, or whatever's not going to work, and they melt down and look like the guy in RoboCop. Remember that nuke face, or whatever his name was? Do you want that to happen to everybody? Just because they said so? Just because of our Trumpykins is saying, yeah, we want double 5G for everything, everywhere, and yeah, no child left behind, just like Bush said. Whatever. I want it to fail. Let's look at technology. Everything that's artificial and man-made immediately begins to deteriorate and fall apart, even if it's on like the most minute, immeasurable levels. Immediately, as soon as you make something, it starts to fall apart. The stuff that man makes needs constant maintenance, when everything that was here is good, and they just keep trying to change and pervert creation, whatever you believe about that. I think it's possible, and I think it's gonna happen, that shit gets fucking squashed just because they've had these plans and written them in books and put them into movies for like more than decades, and all Terry Gilliam shit, and all your Resident Evil movies, and all this stuff, and Omega Man, everything I've been talking about that I deleted. I'll get into why I deleted my stuff again. I just got so pissed. I was like, I talked about this stuff and joked and warned, and like for the last 15, I don't know what this has to do with dating profile shit. Over the last 15 years, I did everything I could. I spent thousands of dollars of my own money to like, hey, parents, I'm gonna give you more trees. And like, why do you keep buying us trees and shit every year? And the old man fucking ruins them and kills everything. Like, what are you doing? I'm trying to set you guys up for something. That's a long investment. So you wanna know what kind of guy I am? I'm the kind of guy that actually did do something I thought was practical to save the world. Teach people permanent agriculture. Teach people how to get a piece of your land, get a piece of land, any piece of land, like I tell people to do, and make that beautiful. And then probably you'll wind up pairing up with somebody. If it's a woman that does that, if it's a man that does that, it would work. Then it turns out there's this whole thing in Russia. It's a Russian eco-village movement. That's a social engineering program or something called Ring Seeds Russia. So found out about that, and like, these guys are doing like a version of it so that everybody can take care of themselves, because in the old days in communist Russia, stuff, you had to grow your own potatoes and it was rough. So you had to think of anything you do to make food in a shitty climate and blah, 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 with a shortened growing season, whatever it is, wherever you lived over there. So people grew up with knowing something about any kind of food supply, and it stayed, all right? And then everybody left Russia and nobody was home, and they said, how do we get them home again? Give them a piece of land, tell them to farm, because the technocracy is going to fall apart and break down and not work. So for the last 15 years, I saw where we were going and they were going to do this, and then it wasn't going to work. So what could be the good thing? That we could have world peace finally. And how would that happen? If we could, instead of being pushed closer together all the time, we could spread out. Now, for the last several years, I peppered this with movies and books and coming and all the disgusting stuff I said. Why? To talk to anybody who would listen, the way that I talk, about stuff that was serious. And the people I had to be in the presence of and company with, and I had short hair and everything, I couldn't talk like the way I talk to you now. I had to talk about like global shit, like they're like, you should do something with the UN, and we're like, nah, fuck the UN. And we go to look at like land and real estate, like look at all this acres of beautiful land. It's like, as far as the eyes can see, it looks like a picturesque thing that people sit down and paint in front of, plein air style. Well, the Forbes owns this side, and the Queen owns this side, and the river runs through it. And nobody can do anything with that. And I look at the way people live, and I've been on airplanes, and I've been all over the world, and I see the filth that we're made to live in. And because people don't have the basic tools that we could give to each other more easily now than ever, which would be the ability to properly steward ourselves and land, and wisdom and discernment, and all that stuff comes with it. And in one weird way, I wonder if, because of the way that we are unaware that we've been living, are we not long suffering enough? Or is it just not enough because of our ignorance and our choices? Like, doing everything wrong all the time and heading to our own perdition this way, and just like, well, I guess the phone told me to stay home, and I guess I can't eat to do things or go anywhere, or it's spring. You have to obey the rules because they're making those people into criminals. I heard a kid got in trouble for doing some stupid stuff in the store. I'm not going to try to do any shenanigans when I go out in public to upset people, to be a provocateur or anything like that. Why? Because of fear or anything like that? No, because it makes people nervous. And I hate seeing that now, but that's what they wanted to do. So I know I said a bunch of weird things are kind of all over the place. But I mean, this is Spring is Sprung. Don't give up on love. What is the stuff I do on my channel? I'm Scott Franklin Ree, champion of love, the mammoth of pop culture, because your pop culture is a legacy of filth. And it's all predictive programming, leading you to exactly how they want you to behave now with shit like Walking Dead and all the dystopian sci-fi shit. Like even Looper has it in there. Star Wars is dystopian sci-fi. Hey, it's the future and we have technology and stuff, even though they say it's long gone far away. But really everything's broken and kind of doesn't work, and people are poor and they're bums of the universe, and everything's kind of a dystopia. Star Wars is a fucking dystopia, except the elite don't live in it. They live in like Denmark houses or something, where everything comes out of the walls and they're just, I live in a flat box and all the things I own store on the wall so you can't see them. You know, godless heathens, people who have rejected our Father. Because that's what we have down here. So they want to corrupt people, degrade them as much as possible, by any means possible. And I think that it needs to fail, because it's just going to get really disgusting. So I want the good guys to have a win, and I pray for it. I really do. I pray for it. And there is such a thing called ceaseless prayer. After Herod killed James and was going to kill Peter next, ceaseless prayer did save his life. So, you're worth it. Why don't you call your father? Planet Daddy issue. That's what we have. Your movies and TV show want you to forget about all your TV dads, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Han Solo and Batman and Superman. They all have to be pussified. Why? 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 Because spring is sprung and they don't want men and women to be together. So I do an episode about love that was a big mess. Wait till you see the outtakes for this. The outtakes are like all their episodes. It's a mess. I don't know, maybe I won't show the outtakes. But the point is, I said champion of love because they don't want men and women to be together. Why? Because in 1932, Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World. And in that book that I always waving at you has googly eyes. Why do I do that? I'm so disgusted by those things now I don't even want to pull the props out. And I should, just like I always do. Because that's what I always do. I always show you these books where babies are born in a hatchery instead of from the womb. And men and women don't stay together. And Winston and Julia go to re-education camp because they were having a sexual affair with kissing. They had to go to a re-education camp till they didn't love each other anymore. And the future doesn't want men and women to be together. And spring has sprung. Alright? And everybody's walking around like it's Mobius Gene Gerard's internal transfer with their faces covered up. And you don't know what's going on underneath there. It could look like a Wolvertune. It could look like something from one of the Warner Brothers cartoons. What's going on underneath that veil? You know, so it's discouraging. It's discouraging for love. It's lighter longer. That's good, so you can sleep better at night. There's less time to be dark, so you won't have to be fearful, to protect your supplies of toilet paper. Hey, you know what's a really good way to save on toilet paper? Be so scared shitless that you can't take a shit. It's like those guys who get locked up and then they're like, I didn't take a shit the whole time I was, you know, like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I didn't take a shit for a month at all. Yeah, so what are you gonna need toilet paper for when everybody's so scared shitless that they're not prepared for whatever they're supposed to be prepared for, and it may never end, and it's invisible, and you don't know what could, you know, whatever. You can't live in fear all the time. It'd be better that you take that last sleeve of crackers and knock on all the doors and don't knock on people's doors, not whatever. But it'd be better if you share that sleeve of crackers and then you all pray together about how you're gonna get the next bit of food. I think that's kind of how things work. Doing the right thing and risking yourself. What's the worst that could happen? Doing the right thing. You don't have to risk yourself to do anything. There's nothing to do. But I'm just saying, like, they want us to be fearful and weak. And I'm saying you don't need any of the Marvel Legends superheroes, any of those guys or the girls, all right? Because we already have one original of that, all right? He went on the cross for that for us. That's how it is. Why do I bring all this religion stuff into it? He is risen. Easter's coming up. What's that mean? I don't know. So, Easter's coming up. Do you think that where we live on this planet, that it's going to be terrible on Easter or great? I don't know. I don't know. But I can't help but think that on that day, that if there anybody, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, that's coming up. It's a big one. He is risen, and now this. People can't go to church. How's it going to affect Easter candy? I'm going to do an episode. Hey, this is a preview for upcoming episode. I'm going to draw and color and dye Easter eggs and all that stuff. We're going to do that. I don't know why, but I've already had it prepared for a long time. I was going to do it prematurely, and now it's nearing. So there you go, upcoming episodes. Something with painting Easter eggs with old dye that's old. And you're like, oh, look at that's old. Why does it still have that? I just didn't throw it away. And now it's going to be stay-at-home comedy. What kind of content do you want now? I think I'm just going to find jokes and read jokes that I think are funny, perform things. Do not become dispirited. I want to say uplifting things. I know from the comments you don't like it when I talk about God, the Father, and Jesus and His Holy Spirit. That's what we got down here for us. Don't forget about that. Okay? Why don't you just call your Father? Ask for help. I should read the definition of grace. It's getting help when you don't deserve it, because you ask for it, because you mean it, because you're sincere. Just call your Father. It's free. You could do it now. You could pause me. So anyway, I think that's the kind of thing that does help people. I forgot. I was supposed to pick out a tie. What do you think I'm gonna do all the bits right up front? Hold on, I gotta pick a tie. It's not gonna be what I like though. It's seasonal. Yes, this is the Shadowlands where I'm in a shadow band. Alright, what do I always do? Ooh, MIT! And now people, what are they talking about? They're talking, the videos that you might have watched talk about those papers, about all this kinds of nonsense. And I blame them for all this avatardedness of the landscape. They wanted to put glow in the dark stuff out there. And that's why I live in the Shadowlands, where I'm in a shadow band, because in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, John the Savage is a natural born man that came out of his mom's womb. Alright, and they lived out on a reservation for humans, which is outside, which is the Shadowlands realm of the shadow band. You get it? And now look at what's going on. All the stuff of the world. I don't want to get into that with this episode. I want to keep it focused on love. So yeah, that's what I've been focused on for the last 15 years. It's cost me friendships. It's people said, I don't know what you're talking about with this shit about like having the, you know, like being able to grow food. Like fuck all this. This is nonsense. Now everybody is like going crazy over the same stuff, and it's gonna change a tone and how people think. So I'd like this whole thing to fail, because the tonal change it could be is, oh, maybe it's like what Scott said, where more people could focus on like growing food, and if you couldn't go to the store it wouldn't matter because you spent, you know, however many years of your life building, world building. What do I always say in this channel? We need a piece of ass, a piece of land, for peace of mind, for peace on earth, for all mankind. That's the peace equation, spread out. And watch devices to learn how to use the resources we have and share the resources, and we could restore this planet again. We could make it beautiful again. How? I don't know why, but I just want to impress my father. Is it possible we could do that? All right? I'm telling you, this is the last 15 years of my life. Is this attractive to women? Any of the stuff I said? And if it's not, what kind of man are you? I did this stuff in preparation for some bitch I didn't even know yet. To be like, no, the world should be better. You wanna have a woman? Make the world a better place. I didn't make that up, all right? Make it just a little bit better. I did what I thought that I could. And you know what happened? Everybody is thinking about the same things I was thinking about 15 years ago, and it's probably more than 15 years ago. Now they're thinking about it all at the same time in 1 year, and it's putting people in a fearful state. And they have all these horrible movies that they've given to us, because I told you before, our entire pop culture history is a legacy of filth, except for things like Billy Madison, which again tells you to be a man baby and not grow up. And that's the same thing as all the women are now. They're all Broad City slobs, and Sarah Silverman, My Pussy's a Pet Shop, Amy Schumer, desecration of the womb, women are slobs, not attractive to men. This is all these things I talk about in all my episodes. I'm just nitpicking here. All the stuff I've been complaining about for years is like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a PC, we're gonna do a power grab. I'm PG now, we're gonna do a power grab. And just like, we got like 10 years, we want, you know, we're gonna go for a whole bunch of stuff this year with this. We're sending out a tweet and tell everybody to stay home, which is cool, but it's not cool because it's making people terrified, it's destroying economies, and what's gonna go away? Places to hang out. Guys that don't even get laid, that's a comic shop or the place you play magic cards or do Citadel miniatures or whatever. All the gaming tables, all that's gone. Even guys that aren't getting laid, that shouldn't probably get pussy and have wives and stuff, they don't want them, nobody hang out anywhere. Everybody stay home, we'll program you. And that's why I always talk about Ready Player One, where people live in whatever they can hold on to, wherever they have, and go online for life and just eat your fucking blue rations and toilet paper and hand sanitizer and Bacti tanks. And I'm not saying people don't have things they're concerned about, but some people are really freaking out, and that is also in those books. It's also one of those things that the bad guys like. So why do you want to be what they want you to be? That's the first thing you don't want to be. They want everybody to be scared. Don't be scared. But don't be stupid. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't make noise. Just quietly be a good person and pray. Oh, please pray. Pray that they dial this shit back, because what they want to do is disgusting. It's all the stuff I've been talking about for years, and all the stuff that other people have been talking about for years, and we argue about whose scoop it was, or who said what or whatever, and everybody gets everything from like Vigilant Citizen or whatever. I don't go to that. I don't even know how to find that one. I looked it up and I'm like, what am I looking at here? So anyway, look, I want to talk about love, romance. So I feel like I have to give you what I have to offer. Like, I talk about shit, right, where we live, but I'm talking about it now, but I want to remain, what do I say, champion of love, because what is the battle for the planet? They don't want people to be together. So now they measured out, like, what's the how far apart do they have to be so that nothing happens? Okay, do that. They even have it in other movies. So forever in your own house, to be alienated from your own family. Oh, the kid's sick, should I go and look on him? Or, how you doing in there? I heard a cough, are you okay? And then you don't know if you should say that you have a scratchy throat too, and you're a child. That's disgusting. And that's what they'd like to happen. So I wish, here's a prayer, the prayer I can legally say, I guess, whatever. I pray that this horrible, evil virus is just squashed and destroyed, and whatever it is to mutate into, like the whole thing, and all the evil plans. Oh, we were trying to hold back on supplies and resources, you know, to create economic conditions so we could go through globalization and global social credit system. Look, we're talking about this stuff, we know about it. I just want it to be squashed. What famous celebrity, is Jim Carrey gonna have to return from the devil and come back to Jesus? Please, Jesus, go get Jim Carrey for us, and whoever they'll listen to. Will they listen? Oprah's pretty bad, I don't know if they will listen to her. Please, Father, redeem a soul, somebody who thinks it's crazy about these times and makes a real good prayer, and let them expose, not Kanye, I'm not going to listen to him, he's a weirdo, somebody else, another celebrity, to just say, you know what, this is nonsense, they're trying to make us do a whole bunch of really expensive stuff every year, and it's going to make us sick and not feel good, and they're experimenting with our kids' brain jelly when they're growing up, because they just want to do all kinds of gross things, this kind of stuff we always talk about. How do we stop it? Prayer, ceaseless prayer, petitionary prayer, trying, like, I don't know, I'm serious about it. Why not? The family that prays together stays together. How many families do that? Are they doing it now? What are they praying for? What are they thinking about? Why are they thinking about that? Because of what they watched on TV, because Sunday has 24-hour Walking Dead marathons before the new season is unleashed, where we just watch people eat each other. Here's my advice. Everybody be Glenn. Right until the fucking end. That's my advice for everybody. Be Glenn. The person that would do the right thing every time. They want you to think that you shouldn't be that person. That's why they killed those people on the show. They don't want any optimism. They want you to stay in a fearful state, because fearful people are full of cortisol, and they're so easy to push around. You just have them watch shit and tell them what to do, and it's all fearful. And you let other bozos and people in the cultural petri just say whatever they want, as long as it's some nonsense. And then nothing gets done efficiently. We don't take care of each other anymore. At our core, we're good. There's a math to this book. There is a math to this book, all right? It makes sense. All your New Age books, all your Eastern mysticism and the pastiches, I'll take something from meditation and something from yoga and something from Hindu and something from every religion, something from Tony Robbins, something from Louise Hay, all these, and something from Ellen, a little something from Oprah, put it all together in a blender, a little David Letterman. That's nonsense. There's a math. There's a math to this book, okay? And the reason you're miserable is because you won't call your father. You just won't do it. You won't call your father. Why won't you just call and ask him for help? You gotta call your dad and ask for money. I don't know what else to say. What's money? Mercy, I meant to say. Call your father and ask for mercy. He knows you've been a shit. That's why I say what I say. Call your father over and over again. I say. Women and men were made for each other over and over again. I say. The mammal of pop culture. Your history of cinema and all your movies is a legacy of filth, and your pop culture music is made by the Beatles, and they did circle jerks with each other as teenagers. They're weirdos. You're not supposed to do that. That's stuff that you're supposed to say, yeah, I did, I don't know why we did that. Alright? The Beatles think it's great. Beat the Beatles. They did that. It's disgusting. There's gotta be comedy in here too. What did I say? Champion of love? I made myself the patron saint. I made myself the patron saint of marriage. And my wife, the patron saint. Why did I do these things on this channel? Because I know where we live. I know where we live. It's a planet of men and women. We're fucking made for each other. We're supposed to pair up, but not everybody does. Some people pick the solitary life, and the ones who do know it. And everybody else is miserable, trying to be in denial of it and doubling down. It's a birthright. We have this planet. We're supposed to be able to steward a piece of it, but we don't have the tools to do that anymore. They were taken away from us on purpose, so that when stuff like this happened, people wouldn't know what to do. So that they go to the store and buy all the seeds and hike up the prices and try and sell seeds on Etsy for gardens, and they don't even have a fucking garden. You don't even know about one permaculture. The kind from Australia, the kind from Japan, which is called do nothing farming, or the kind that's the good kind from Sepp Holzer from Austria, who has paradise on an alpine slope complete with beasts. Beasts that you could eat. And the whole world could be like this. We have the technology to bring us back. It sounds strange, but we have the technology to bring us back to something I think Father and Jesus and everything else in between we're very pleased with. You too. And why? Why don't we do this? Because they have the books of the social engineers, the wealthy elite. They have things like a CERN Hadron Collider, tunnel opening ceremony where a guy in goat horns rails a lady in a red dress with a red crown, and a moishi from Where the Wild Things pops out. Thank you for the tunnel. Thank you for the largest underground tunnel in the world that leads to the CERN Hadron Collider, the place that's a biblical location where they said the portal to Abaddon was, because they want to do that. They think they can. They think they can do that. They think they can like raise the devil or open a dimension to demons or whatever. This is where the money in the world is going. This can't go on like this forever. At some point, there's like, it's gonna be like, oh, what are they doing to children now? Enough. Enough. So, are we really gonna keep going? Like, this isn't funny to me anymore, this shit. Like, I joked about it for so long, and it's like, well, here they go. They just went and did old PG because the algobots won't let me say the word power grab anymore, right? I'm Future Scott, I know what happens. So yeah, you probably hear a lot of that lately, because yeah, it totally is. It's just like, do you think we're at the point where people will just like, whatever we tell them on the phone, they'll do it? Yeah, we do, because we raised a bunch of kids to look at that little, all those little scare things they used with the introduction to the internet. Look at the screen and be traumatized. The Blumhouse cinema, the jump scares, the changing of movies, everything I've talked about. The changing of movies into watching the movie, into the experience of where you just watch the ride, which is a game walkthrough, and you're the avatar and you just watch it and you get traumatized. So now we're just watching life and getting traumatized. And I went to the store and this guy freaked out like the Big Bang Theory because I stepped over the line. I'm not even kidding. I said, what the fuck is this? And I stepped over the line and the guy was like, ah. And then the lady at the store knew what the problem was. She's like, go over there then. So she let the guy go slide over to the other line because I stepped over the fucking boundary to the line. I wasn't even thinking anything. I wasn't trying to harass somebody. But it took me a while to figure out what had even happened there. Because the guy, he was like a Big Bang Theory nerd. His face covered up, and he had gloves on and everything. And I stepped over they had tape. The supermarket has tape now. Yeah, just where I go, has tape, social distance. And the whole time you're there, like I said in my last episode, whereas this general from Flash Gordon lady is like General Kala. She's like, you must keep your safe distance. Touching is bad. Do not look directly. It can be transmitted through eye contact. This is just disgusting. But anyway, I'm not trying to upset anybody, but the guy freaked out. I didn't even know what happened at first, all right? I have another story like this too. If that makes sense, let me explain this to you. I don't know if this made sense. I was waiting to check out and I was keeping my safe space between us. I know how long it is, and they had the floor taped. So before I was like, whoa, but I just stepped I just stepped over the line like a little bit, but there's still all that space between us. And the guy did this. And the lady's like, go over there, like go over into the other line then. And then I just stepped up into his space. Just like that. What is it, like, you know, I know California's been, you know, shut down for like what, like going on 2 weeks or something now? But this is, I'm not there, I'm not in California. This is just like weird. Oh, and the other thing, an old man, he told me how old he was. He said he was 80 years old and that he had seen polio. And I said, oh, and the swine flu, that was the other one. And he said, oh yeah. I said, I wasn't there for those, but I know about that. And then he said, well, and then what was the other one? I said, well, this new one is the other thing. So I said, yeah, and I said, this new one's about cards and chips or whatever. And I don't know if you know what he talked about. And he said something about going to church where they use Zoom. I think that he was talking about going to church on Zoom because he couldn't go to church. And the lady that was the cashier was wearing gloves that were winter gloves. That, like, I want as much physical space between my fingertips and all the money I touched today. All right? So she says this little lowercase c, remember when I used to say that all the time? This little lowercase c was using her newly SJW dyed hair bitch authority to say, you know, can you guys, you're supposed to be spaced. I'm supposed to tell you guys to keep a space between each other. I'm sorry for not doing that. Can you know, can you please space? You want us to be 6 feet apart because we were talking to each other in line, and this is in a different store. This is in Dollar Tree, okay? So in Dollar Tree, we're waiting to leave, and this 80-year-old man is behind me in line, and she's like, okay, I know you're talking, everybody can hear your conversation because I just told you where our conversation was. And she's like, can you space up? So then he couldn't talk to the people behind him either because he was trying to talk to everybody, I guess. He's an old, lonely old man. And he's saying about these things. And I'm not being disrespectful to him, but he said polio. He was 80 years old. He said polio. He said swine flu, and he said now this. And what he was trying to say is, like, we've been through this before, and nobody, when swine flu came, they said everybody has to do it. And then people were like, no, we're not doing that. And here we are. That was a long time ago. Look at when that came out. And I may have been alive for that. I'm the ancient one. So, love is in the air. Don't give up on love. So I say, oh, it's for me. It's not for me, I say. Love is not for me. So I have to do this episode in spring when we're living like this and be champion of love, because if I'm champion of love, this is exactly the kind of thing I have to talk about, but I just made this episode's like a big mess because they're improvised. This is my open mic with some rehearsed bits, and you know, this is how it all came together, because this is the one. So, this is how I say what I say. You have to have courage to not become dispirited, because it doesn't serve anything good. I don't know, like, it's all the stuff I've been saying. They literally don't want men and women to be together. Like, even if you're a couple with somebody, they're like, hey, you know, just disassociate for a while, watch some devices. Maybe you can watch some stuff that will make you distrust the man, and he'll run away from you or he'll abandon you like they're putting all the movies and pop culture. Just get programmed. Just stay separated, watch devices, call each other, stay on the phones. We want to monitor conversations. We're figuring out technology to have some kind of world brain nonsense. Make it fail, all right? Everything that's a technology begins to deteriorate as soon as it is created and needs constant maintenance and surveillance and checkups and tribute paid to it by the living beings that manage these things and keep it going, and systems and technocracies and all and like. Squash it. This has to be a win for the good guys. Somehow this has to fail spectacularly. They're gonna do all this shit, and like, yeah, everybody knows we're not doing that. Something like that. Yeah. And everybody gets to live and pray for the lives of those who are dying from this or from anything that may be happening this time of year. But it's about love, because spring has sprung and it's the time for lovers. Remember all the old cartoons? All the old cartoons were animals like, guess what, it's spring and all the animals are falling in love. Yeah. But we're not animals. We're in charge of all that shit. They're in love, we're in love, it's great. We rule this planet. Peace of ass, a piece of land for peace of mind, for peace on earth for all mankind. So be it. What else do I say? There's not a lot to do down here. So now what do I want to do? Oh, Netflix and chill. Like, just, we'll figure out what we're gonna do next. Oh, we've got it all figured out. It's called Hegelian dialectics. Make everybody, you see how the preparation for this, all the movies, all the shows, getting you ready for this, ugh, disgusting. So many machinations. And that's why I can't help but think like that's why I want you to think of the perspective of a thing like this that takes so long with so much effort behind it. I want it to be doomed to fail. Isn't that the best? All this planning, all this plotting, leading mankind through movies and TV and pop culture and music to this unwitting, like, judgment, perdition to get us to degrade and lower ourselves and waste our lives and not care about each other and just, like, try to reduce us to a fearful hell by the stuff that we watch. It just seems like a big disaster that can't work. Because if I'm talking about it and I'm a fucking idiot, and guys that went to school for this and spent 10 years, 20 years, women too, researching, finding out this stuff their entire adult lives, if they're older than that, like an entire adult life, looking at social engineering and all the globalization and the machinations of it. At what point are people who work in, like, cold storage places say, wait a minute, everything's here, and the guys that work at the rubber glove factory and the toilet paper place say, we don't understand why they won't let anybody do anything, and people that work at Walmart say, we know how much food they throw away that they won't give to anybody, because you can watch videos on this, and I always put them in my public-liked videos for all to see playlist, where it just shows you how much food Walmart wastes all the time, and they refuse to give it to people who don't eat. And that was years ago. That was like a video from like 2013 or something. Whereas, like, look at all the food that Walmart wastes. Yeah, this is all disgusting. And Walmart's corporate policy, if you wanted to be an investor or shareholder or whatever, said they wanted to be the only store. So what else did they say? In the future, at a brave new world, it's a factory. And you either live upstairs or downstairs from where you work, which is the factory. And then you shop there and you eat there. It's like that stupid Dax Shepard movie with Jessica Simpson and Dane Cook, where they live and work inside of a Walmart superstore. They want it to be like, yeah, we live the Walmart style. Look, all our needs are provided for, stuff's in here. They know everything about us. We're safe, everything's good and nice for nice people. It's terrible. Like guys running for president to make you think about universal basic income. Joe Rogan talking about it for years, having people on to talk about it. Just putting these ideas in your brain so that when the time comes, they can say, hey, men and women, stop looking at each other. Don't stay together for a lifetime, because if you did, you'd fight for a piece of this planet, because there's not a lot to do down here. And when men and women have proper bonding together, they would stay together. You know why? For a lifetime, to build something. There wouldn't be so much sleeping around and touching and kissing, because it makes people not trust each other. I don't trust men. I don't trust women because of my relationships. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing it that way. We're doing everything wrong. But how? But why, Scott? Because we watch stuff on movies and TV and we just wanted to be like those people, because that's as simple as it fucking is. And that's why people don't like movies and TV right now, because you're not supposed to like any of the heroes, because they don't want anybody to be one. Can you dig it? I give you everything for here, and I have for years. Why? Because I wanted us to win. I wanted the good guys to win. Because I fucking wanted to be one of them. That's why I do all the things I had to give you in this episode, alright? This is an episode about love. This is the love I had for strangers. Love I had for people that left comments. Love I had for just... This is not... I said the world peace... We could be growing up and learning so fast in an entirely different direction. And instead they want to push us in exactly the opposite wrong way. And they use fear-mongering to do it. And illnesses and sicknesses so that we can't be next to each other because we'll get sick. And that's just disgusting. How are you going to love your kids? You know what you do? You know what? And this is so sad that you can't do this anymore. I know it's against the law. But you know, this is how mothers test for a fever. They kiss their child's forehead with their lips. It's the ancient Chinese secret. And I want you to know that. Does that mean I just committed some kind of horrible act that I suggest that the way that people used to do that? Oh no, somebody might get the idea to test their child's temperature by kissing their forehead when their head feels hot. Planet Daddy issue. You know why? Call your father. I want them all. What kind of... Do you believe in God? Do you think it would help you if you really needed it, if you really meant it, if you're really scared and fearful? Do you think it would help you? Do you think it would abandon you? I don't even know who the fuck you are, what kind of asshole. And you know the horrible things you did. I think it would help you. I really do. But you gotta learn some stuff so you have a context. That's why I'm gonna keep recommending this for you. It's a $50 book, but you can probably get it for 30 bucks. All over the place, still. What do you want me to... I don't know what we're gonna do with videos for this year. I'm kind of just doing them like day by day. I'll have some funny stuff for you. I got eggs. I didn't do that one yet. Because I want to eat them after I make them. I got that. I mean, not all at once. Here's me. I made a dozen hard-boiled Easter eggs. I'm gonna eat all 12 eggs. And here's the next episode. It's like Jackass of me like puking and farting. Thank God it's not in smell-o-vision. But anyway, no. I just want to do some silly stuff, just because that is needed too. I mean, just always keeping people in a fearful... Here's the movies to watch about the worst horrible diseases and plagues. No, I'm not going to do that to you. Not to say you shouldn't be informed about those things. We're going to go watch about those things. But I don't want to put people in a fearful state. I want to uplift. I want to inspire. Do not become dispirited. Let yourself become low. You must have courage and strength to go on. Something to live for. Being good. Not like behave, be good. Be a good person, do the right thing. You know what those things... why do I say it so open-endedly are? Because I don't know where you live or what your life's going to be like, but it is a thing that it's like innate within you to be good. It just is. I know I don't know you, but it's innate within you to be good. I know that my daddy didn't make any trash, so what's really in there is that good. So that's really the only thing I'm interested in anymore, is what's good in you, and everything else can fall away. And I can look aside from those things because I'm looking to see what's good in you, and that's anyone. Right? So be careful, be safe, do not give up on love. I'm not ending the episode yet. But I'm trying, all the things I've been saying over the years, like, oh, your music is shit, and look at what they're doing, and they're all doing like black masses, and why do they hate God and Jesus so much? Why is there, I know it's destroy the patriarchy, and men protect women, and if you can, it's to isolate people. It's all about isolation. So now they did it. They did it. They had the movies that told people to do it. We were doing it to ourselves anyway, and now when we were spending so much more time isolated, even when we were hanging out with each other, we were always on our devices, all right? And now they're just saying, okay, just have your devices, and now just stay home and get weird and xenophobic, and we're gonna give you all kinds of fear porn that you could watch. I don't know what words I can say anymore, but I thought it was funny to say fear porn, because I heard that somewhere and I thought it was funny. A long time ago, but I'm using it now, because I'm sure there's stuff, if you see some raw videos of shit like 10 minutes of driving in the hood or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's rough. That was before. Before, you know, Agenda Blade Runner 21. I mean, 2049. I mean, yeah. That's all the stuff I was talking about. But it's not cool. And I don't know if we're supposed to joke about it when we're kind of soaking it. And I don't know how handsome I am. Did I dressed up nice for you and everything? I put on stupid shoulder pads and stuff. Do I want to joke about scarcity and lack and stuff. No, I tried to inspire you. What are they talking about? Oh, let's do some funny videos where we let animals wander around the zoo. I've been doing that for years too. What do I say? Everything is high all the time because of the soma, and the cannabinoids are in, there's cannabinoids in aquifers, so even the megafauna, all right, which they talked about reintroducing lions into the UK years ago. Joe Rogan would talk about that stuff. And then the movies, the Terry Gilliam movies, with the monkeys, that one's talking about, the, remember with the lion at the beginning in the zoos and all stuff, and I Am Legend. Yeah, because the planet's huge. The planet's huge, and the wealthy elite whose fortunes control the fates of nations are disgusting. Show me any of them, one of them that are good guys. We're the good guys, the small people down here. Lots of people have been doing lots of good reporting and trying to prepare people and warning, and then boom, they just did a PG on us. So I wanted to fail, and I think that I believe in prayer. I know that it works, and I think that this could be some kind of failure because some of the stuff they have planned is so disgusting. I can't believe that everything would go off the way that they want it to for this disgustingness, which is why I've had trouble talking about what I want to do with my episodes. Like I'm like, how do I said I'm here. Future Scott came back in time. I'm here with you for this. I forwent my, you know, all that stuff. I'm here. We're all in the same thing here. So I got to give you an episode like this that addresses it, but it has to be filled with love because that is the antidote to all this. They don't want us to love each other. They don't want us to take care of each other. And now they're trying to prevent that by actual, like, not actual physical contact. Because if you do, you could fucking die. You can't hotbox with anybody anymore. Bart and Otto from The Simpsons, like, hey Bart, man, I can't blow bomb rips anymore with you because you'll fucking die, man. So it's over. No, you know, they don't want people to go meet clubs, keep a distance if you are in public, stand in line, wait. Here's some things that we have available for you, but you can't just do anything you want or have anything you want. It's bedtime, it's lunchtime. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. You need this, you need that. Did you get one of those? Then you can't be here. It's the social credit system stuff, and they're trying to do it, and I want it to fail. I want it to fail. I do. I need a drink. What do you think of my mug? This one or that one? If you're in love with me, leave it in the comments below. If you think the things I've done on this planet are potential suitor enough for you. I've also raised progeny, and there must be something good with my genes because their aspirations have been thwarted because they're beautiful and nobody can go anywhere and do anything that the beautiful people do. And I happen to have been responsible for raising beautiful people, and if you watch these episodes before, you know that I did it without a woman. That's not easy. That's not easy. But it's done. Everything's great. I'm doing great. My progeny are doing great. You know what we're doing? Watching lots of TV. I'm catching up on, what is his blessed name? Don Giller. Don Giller in your David Letterman collection. Bless you. And bless you watching this. I mean it. I can do that. Bless you. You can even bless somebody horrible. I hope that would change them. Pray for the repentance of the evil and wicked who have helped these machinations unfold, and just have them have a change of heart. Go, I cannot let them do this. Something. Anything. Pray, I guess is what I'm saying. Pray. Pray, because we've talked about this shit for a long time. Pray to your Father sincerely. Penitent prayer, ask for mercy, but also pray to help shape. Show Dad that you have something to offer of your own. How could we thwart this plan, we the little people, and offer it up to Father's prayer? Because I said this before and I'll say it again. Your Father knows what you need before you pray. So what are you praying about? Do it. Pray for it. But also, I'm trying to help you make them work. I'm trying to help prayers work. All right? Call your Father. Tell him what's wrong. Tell him what you're afraid of. You're not afraid you're going to make it or whatever. Ask him to give you the calm and the peace that you need and the ability to take things day by day and step by step, because we're all in the same boat. They're scaring us with movies. They've been. And now they did the PG with it. And you have to be careful though, because of Nosco Valley to win. They unleashed The Last of Us, the deadly res virus. Here we go. You gotta be careful. It's an invisible threat. I think we're just gonna have to Velveteen Rabbit everything and start over in new communist cinder block housing with Funko Pops melted into it. To have something to look at when you're staring at the walls. Funko walls. If you're lucky. No. Lies, lies, lies. So much. There was some UK news that was the kind of thing you might want to hear. But the UK said, maybe this thing that was going on isn't as bad as we said that it was, but it doesn't matter. We got a whole bunch of stuff done that we wanted to do anyway, and that's really what it was about anyway. So, you know, too bad, so sad. We're gonna do this now. So I don't know, is it like that? I just want to uplift and inspire, and what have I been saying on this channel? Men and women were made for each other. You need an example of who to be and who to find to develop properly. And then you want to meet somebody like that and start world building. Forget about Minecraft and online. We didn't need GameStop anyway. It's good that they went away. But making it go away now is to make us fearful. And that I don't like. They're doing all these things at the same time. Well, it's just timing. But that's why I put people in a fearful state. And then you can go for a PG. You can go for a PG rating for life for everyone. And all the people will just be nice and only do what's told. But what you're told is to be isolated and separated so you don't bond properly, don't trust anybody. And have bullshit movies like Snowpiercer where nobody lives anywhere, you just travel around on a fucking train, drive around the world forever so nobody has a home. Because it's exactly the opposite of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to find a place on this planet and live a fucking lifetime and know people and have a neighborhood and a community and be close to each other and love each other, have family and friends. Like all the stuff we watch on TV. You know why people like to watch things that happened in the 80s or the 70s or the past? Because we're being socially engineered away from each other, and we like seeing fantasies in the world when it's warm and cozy, even if it's fucking Stephen King's It. We want to see them grow up in the 60s, 1960s, or the 1980s, whichever version of it is. The point is, well, the point is it's to traumatize us because Stephen King's a douchebag and a weirdo. But the point is, it's like Sun Tzu's Art of War. For the world is coming to its end. People have nostalgia or a fondness for a time when they weren't alive because things were simpler then and more the way they're supposed to be. Why? Because it's social engineering in this case. That's what I'm using that example for. Because they're trying to degrade us. Why? Because we're good. So trying to make us into the opposite of that. Instead of taking care of us, each other like we're supposed to be, and everybody being like Glenn in The Walking Dead. They want everybody to pick like one of the numerous characters in The Walking Dead, and that creates divisiveness. Who do you identify with? Are you a Negan? Maybe? I know maybe The Walking Dead's not the biggest thing anymore. It used to be about father and son, and now it's got to be about destruction of the patriarchy, so I get rid of those guys. But you see what I'm saying? It's all just, what's your future to get in movies? Dystopia. Oh, but that was a cool one. It's Blade Runner 2049. It's a high-tech dystopia. Oh, this is Mad Max. That's a, you know, no-tech dystopia. It's just the hanging on to survive using the remnants of whatever was left of society instead of just not living that way because we were given the planet to steward and everything was good and green. And that's how we started out that way and we messed everything up. And our Father's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. What does that mean? It just means something different to me now that I actually read that book. But if you would have told me that all the stuff I was doing like 15 or more years ago about self-sufficient family homesteads and how a lot of what pleases God in the Bible goes right along with that, and how this planet could be transformed into, I forget what it's called, like a kingdom of like Escarole. Forgive me Lord for my ignorance, but people will know what I mean when I say it wrong. But there's like a kingdom that's supposed to be perfect, and it's basically everybody has a home and a nice piece of land and all this stuff. And I met a lot of weird people. One of the things this McGray guy kept saying was, he's like, no, you have to refuse. He kept saying like resurrection, like you don't understand, like life eternal, and that everything would just be like that. And I know it sounds strange that I say this, but there's not a lot to do down here. And what's here to do is pleasing. That's pleasing would be pairing up, taking a piece of this planet, stewarding that, and everything that entails about learning that and being part of a community. And we still would have, you know, forget that French bullshit like the green beautiful and the environmental eco stuff. What they're telling us now is that we need to be removed from it. Like we're desert, like Madonna the asshole. We're desert, dirty, diseased, and everything must be cleansed because what we did. No. People who are in charge of everybody told us we should live in our own filth and then let us degrade ourselves within the cultural petri dish of our culture below, and that's worldwide. All right, so there's only a couple of different ways we can degrade ourselves, and there's only a couple of different ways we can pick ourselves up. And the one size fits all thing is that we have a Father down here, and that's our planet. And Jesus was his only begotten Son, who came as the Word, as the burning bush, as the presence, as it's before he even came here. He came. You just don't know what that story is. I'm not explaining it right. He set things right. His only begotten Son. It's like a fucking math book, you idiot. Just read this book, asshole. I should have just ended the episode there, and if you never see this, then maybe I did, but if you saw this, I'm gonna keep going. But anyway, read the book, asshole. Because it might mean something different now. I don't know where you're at, but I came from this background of seeing all the Eastern stuff and New Age stuff and self-help people and meeting all these people, and they're telling you, you gotta know this and you gotta know that, and it's all shit. And because of all that stuff I've lived and seen and done and tasted and all that stuff, coming to this makes me know, because of what I lived, like, that's all that I needed. If you would have gave me this a long time ago, I don't know if it would have meant anything. But now, because of what I lived, when I go to this, I'm like, yes, this makes sense. This is like Proverbs, books of wisdom, everything for how to live is in here. But also the math of creation and the why. Like, if you want a worldview that makes sense and where we live and why the evil guys would do the things they do, it's all in here. And it's not done with gobbledygook like you think that it is. There's the math. These actions are impermissible. Here's why. Just because God, that's enough for me. But no, it makes sense how things don't work and we can't get along and take care of each other. And that's why Jesus is the end. This is a great mug. Concept. Why? When you want wisdom, and you do, what does everybody want? I wish I could be smarter than everybody else because then I'd have power. If you want wisdom, you ask wisdom for wisdom. Where's the source of wisdom? Ask, if you want wisdom, go to wisdom for wisdom. I'm leaving it, you figure that out. Where is it? There's no intermediaries between you and your Father. I don't know how to tell you this. You know how you're so miserable and you're scared and fearful? If you would just take the time, because I can't do it right for you, to sort this out, what I'm telling you, and look at what I've actually done over the years and what they're doing to us to prevent that, I'm telling you, it's where we live. It's where we live. What do you think about the resurrection, Passion of the Christ resurrection that's supposed to be out in 2021? You think that's good or bad? I don't know. I don't know. It's a pretty big deal to make a movie like that. It's supposed to happen between the date, like before he comes back, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Like the 3 days before he comes back or something. I have no idea. I'm just throwing that in there as a footnote because I was talking about so much Bible and Jesus stuff. Why? It's kind of like the most fucking important thing for guiding your life. And even if you came from another religion or tradition, I don't know what you've been through, but if you had this version of the Bible to read and just skimmed around, if you just, it's what it's our Father. You don't know what we have a Father that's loving. Grace. Grace is something that you're given because you don't deserve it, because you asked for it, and because you meant it, because you really wanted it. Look, you have a Father that loves you. You think He's not? You think He's gonna deny you? No, but you have to know that He's gracious. And then, when you do, you're good. It's given. Let me read the definition of grace from the Student Bible Dictionary from, was it Nelson's? Okay. Grace. Favor or kindness shown without regard to worth or merit of the one who receives it. That's you. And in spite of, that's you. And in spite of what that person deserves. That's grace. You don't deserve it, but you ask for it. You know why? Because you were sincere and honest, and God saw your heart in that moment. And He helped you, because He would. But you gotta have the eyes to see it. Over and over again. That's what kind of Father you have. Just call your Father. Grace, favor and kindness shown without regard to without regard to the worth or merit of the one who receives it, and in spite of what that person deserves. Grace is one of the key attributes of God. The Lord God is merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abounding in goodness and truth. That's from Exodus. Therefore, grace is almost always associated with mercy, love, compassion, and patience. You can't even do a fucking experiment for me and just call your father, say, God, please, I know you're my father. Talk to him. The rest is between you. There's no intermediaries between us. None of my business what you do after that. Call your father. Talk to him. I don't know. I know why they told you it was lame. What would Jesus do? The family that prays together stays together. There's so many more. They made fun of it all. Footprints in the sand, whatever it is. It was just thinking, getting you to think about, like, how do I handle this situation? How would, Jesus handle this? Probably in the nicest way possible. Why don't you want to be the best guy? What do I need to say? You don't like Jesus? What? Handle like All-Star Superman. Alright? All-Star Superman doesn't sweat anything. Right? Okay, this is where we are, we'll do this then. And be good and loving. Do you want somebody to yell at you the way I do, to tell you stuff and call you an asshole? No. So it's just saying, how should we be? The best way we can be at all moments. And we had a perfect example of that. I'm not going to get into the story with the cross, but he is risen. That's coming up. That's the resurrection was for us. That's for us. That's for us. That's for you and me. And I know you don't, I know there's a couple of you that don't even like what I'm saying. It's still for you. That's how much you're following. It's still for you. You're gonna get it whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. That's what I think. I think you're gonna get it whether you like it or not. And you're gonna be so glad you did when you do, whenever that moment comes. But, I don't know. You don't always have, like, what do I say? I've been saying it lately, and people are like, I don't know if you're a real God, but please help me with this or that. Whatever it takes to get you to call your father. Parents, I mean, I wish they would just call me. I'm a dad. I wish they would just call me, I know they're okay though, but I'm an earthly father. I'm talking about the father we share, our heavenly father. Why can't you just call dad? You think you're gonna talk to, who else are you gonna talk to? I don't know, friends and stuff, sure, but why? You have that immediate intermediary. I mean, you have that immediate, there's no intermediaries at all. You have that immediate in with no intermediaries. Just call your father, that's what we have. And the Holy Spirit is for us down here, all right? In us, through us, however you want to phrase it. You got to find out what all that stuff means. I'm not doing an episode on that. This is a planet called Planet Daddy Issue, and men and women were made for each other. And all your pop culture doesn't like any of your male heroes, so they all have to be reduced and diminished. We've all been talking about it for years. All your big popular channels that talk about the destruction and deconstruction and social Marxist, cultural neo-Marxism, pop culture deconstruction, stuff I talk about too. Yes. Why? To reduce men and women, to separate them from one another, because that's what this planet is. A planet of men and women made for each other to steward this place. And some people aren't going to pair up, I notice, and do it alone. And there's enough room because it's huge. And all you have to do is go watch your YouTube videos. It shows you how big the fucking planet is and how nobody's home. Nobody lives there. So what are we supposed to do? Go through all this nonsense? If we want space, let us spread out. Don't like push us closer together and tell us within this confines of where we have to live, this is how far apart we have to be so that we can't. It's disgusting. I mean, I don't know how much longer this kind of stuff goes on. Just because they wrote books about it a long time ago and built to it doesn't mean that they're going to get their way. Doesn't mean they get to have their crowning achievements of their technotronic technocracy or whatever the hell it is that you want to call it that they're making. Doesn't mean they get to have it. I mean, it's already, it'll never work in the first place. It's already doomed to fail. But they will insist in pushing. So I keep thinking, who are the good guys, which I guess is us, the common man. What do we do to squash this shit peacefully? Because that's really the only way we can do stuff. We can't use their tactics. They're disgusting. So pray. That's the technology of prayer. Sincere, honest, and true, and sometimes desperate and needed prayer. Begging for mercy, begging for repentance. Sometimes that's where you need to start. Do you have enough popsicles for the next 3 months? Year and a half and 15 days? What do you I don't know. We're all in this together, but who are gonna behave like? I say be like Glenn right up until the end. They want you to think that that's the end, or all the characters in The Walking Dead that were good people, that were hopeful. They like, nah, we have to crush. That's the programming in the show, is to crush the idea that you should think that way. They want you to have a scarcity, fear, scarcity, and lack mentality. Yeah, so for years now, I've been a champion of love, the man out of pop culture, and because everybody wants to film themselves, extreme narcissism TV, because we have a monitor that monitors us. And I just want to talk about love, give you a good Saturday episode, and it is an anniversary of pain from a day that I used to celebrate, not wedding anniversary, but the day of, that's another different anniversary of pain. But yeah, who would have thought of that? I have like a night, I think I was letting go of her in my mind somewhere. Maybe the love of my lifetime. Maybe my T, she'll be here with a hijab on, 6 feet away from me and behind me, so we can do episodes together. I'll have to figure, oh, that could be a good bit. I'm like, yeah, what do you think, honey? And I'll just talk to the dummy back there. I can call her that now. She can't touch me. It's a safe space. If she comes near me, that's some kind of istic threat, and I can have her locked up. And then she gets douched with the chlorine spray and all that stuff like they did in Tank Girl when they caught. Remember when they caught Tank Girl? There's my dystopian movie to watch, Tank Girl, where Lori Petty, who's a lesbian, falls in love with Ice-T, who's a kangaroo man. I don't know, I kind of like it, but you can watch the movie and see that it's not really what it's supposed to be. Like, it could have been way cool, and like Tank Girl could be something really cool directed by me now, and I focus it on T. I'm like, okay, Scott's in the background because I'm directing to make the T story. Hey, give me money to make a good Christian dystopian sci-fi where love still wins, because that's what I'm trying to get money from now, all right? I'm trying to make my dystopian story where love wins, and no matter what they try to do to us, this is what this channel was, no matter what they try to do to us, and MIT and all this stuff, ruining the environment, that love would win. Why? To honor my father. Why? Because he gave us everything, this whole planet. It's worth fighting for. Why? Because he put you and me on it. Why? It was made for us. They try to take it away. There's a couple people saying what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. And the planet's big enough we could all have our safe space. And it wouldn't, the drones, everything they wouldn't do, it's disgusting. Squash it. Petitionary prayer, ceaseless prayer, creative prayer that helps model. What if this could happen, Dad? What if it would fail at this point? And then this could happen, and model it and offer it up as a prayer. I'm not kidding. I mean it. Do it. Have another M&M, why don't you? I know, I thought my voice sounded like the M&M thing there. That's why I did that. So, yeah. This is the planet of men and women made for each other, for us to steward, including all of its beasts. And we've lost our way and forgotten who we were, and we don't know how to take care of ourselves or each other. And now they want us to be even grosser and more degraded, and like Ready Player One or worse, and all the fear and horror and lawlessness, and it's gross, and I want it squashed. And I want a gradual transition. Here's what I want to happen at the end of this, and I'll end the episode with this. People are more conscious now about resources and food and growing stuff, so then they make demands on that. Hey, we want to be able to have more safe, healthy, local food supply wherever. We're not doing mandatory labor camps. We want more initiative for people to spread out. Hey, if there's a rich guy who can only live in one place, why does he own like a whole half of Colorado, and then the Forbes owns the whole other half of the part in Colorado, and nobody can do anything there? And there's a planet made out of water, but we can't get clean water, and the water's too dirty, and we can't make salt water drink. It's all fucking lies. It's just lies. Lies! And the proof of that is the MFing books that I hold up all the time. Brave New World, Brave New World, Between Two Ages. Why do you think I did it all the time? Why do you think my last episode had me holding you, reading it to you? Because they were setting all the movies I talk about, Blade Runner 2049, Gen 21, all this stuff. Yes, this is what they're doing. This is evil. This is what evil is. You have a choice between good and evil. Be good. Glenn is good. Glenn is good. Abraham is good. They wanted you to see those guys get their heads smashed in, so you don't think like that. See what happens to guys that are heroes? Yeah, they immediately fucking go to heaven, or they sleep until it's time for them to be resurrected, because that's how it fucking works, and that's where we live. If you don't like it, you're gonna be miserable. Figure it out. Call your father, because that's who we have. Don't forget about a blessing to Don Giller and his excellent. He must have been, he's got to be pretty old. He's got to be in his 50s or something. He must have been recording Letterman since it started or something, compiling it all. So there you go. You want to watch old Letterman clips? I don't know. I never watched it when it was new, so it's new to me. I knew about it though, because I knew about Chris Elliott. There you go, Get Life, Chris Elliott. That's comedy on YouTube. I like to put those episodes up, but they're owned by Fox. Now Fox is owned by Disney, and nobody cares about that show or that guy. But that was a funny show too. It's about stupid, it's about nothing. I'm trying to think about funny things to watch. I don't know. This episode's about love, not laughter, really. But, I'm gonna talk to you how I talk to you. That's what we got. Call your father. It's God the Father and Jesus, his only begotten Son. And the Holy Spirit, that's for us, that's for everyone. We're on a ride, lady. We are. We're on it. Where are you going? I don't know. Prayer helps. You just gotta mean it. And here's the thing about it. Even if you don't know if you're doing it right, he knows if you mean it. You mean it. Call your father. Plant daddy issue. I don't know what else to say. So did I finish that thought that I said that I was going to give you something and then leave on that? Yeah. All the stuff that they're trying to push you into. Look at the years of planning they did to do this to you. Look at all the movies they gave us for this. To tell us how we're supposed to behave now. Well, be a champion of love. Because we need them. We need champions of love. Enjoy yourselves and your, look at this, how sweet is my girlfriend made me a Bactine tank in the future. How about that? But no, right now, Scott, I'm on Love Quest. Let me take this off. Let me show you. With my terrible hair. Let me show you. Look, I'm single. Here's some things I tried to do for the world. What have you done? Maybe it's a planet of people made to fall in love with each other. Maybe I shouldn't have been so down on love. Hey, Oka, when everybody else is crying, all right? Sometimes it's even hard for me to be laughing. I hate to see people miserable. It's the thing that gets to me, seeing how this shit has affected people. But just the same, I'm trying to do whatever I can to keep you from becoming dispirited. Because it matters, right? Because it makes you weak. So yeah, there'll be some time for laughter, serious stuff. Get whatever you think you may need for whatever your circumstances are. How could I touch on that one? I don't know. You have other people you care about. Love them. And when, whatever, you always have prayer. The last refuge of a scoundrel, prayer. And it's one that works. But don't depend on that. I don't know, how do I give such open-ended advice? Just love, they do not want, the wealthy elite whose fortunes control the fates of nations do not want the superpower of the planet, which is a man and a woman to be together, and all of the men and women or whatever, like against the world. They don't want that. They just want you not to care about each other anymore. You don't care about kids and let the brave new world raise them. All that shit. All that I've been talking about for years. And other channels, they say, watch this video or watch that video, or my public like videos for all to see. I want it to fail. And I'm asking you to pray for it to fail and get creative with it and share that with each other on those other platforms because you're on them, and say, what about this? Because I know people have groups for stuff like this. How do we squash it? And squash it. You can do it yourself. You don't need anybody else. There's no intermediaries between you and your father. If you got a problem with the way things are going down here, talk to him about it. But at least know the perspective from which you're praying, which is why I try to give you all this stuff that I don't even know about that much, about Bernays and Brzezinski and social engineering and tragedy and hope and Ghost in the Machine and Jay's analysis and the theology and the Christianity and J-O-B, if you want to be with me. What is it? What kind of, is there any women that watch this? What are you thinking? I know my YouTube nanny is like my matchmaker, and she won't let me meet the women that I would probably like. She's like filtering my responses here on my little dating thing I have going on this channel. I don't know, you just have to keep leaving comments till that one off day when one of them gets through. My YouTube monitor doesn't prevent our love from happening. So, or maybe you have a sister. Maybe he's like, look at this guy. You think you could go for a guy like this? Maybe you want to set me up with your sister. I'm a good man. You already know I don't want to blow loads in faces and make her suck my dick or anything. It's gross. It's gross. Not for my wife. So there you go. This is dating. Champion love. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on life. Call your father. Don't give up on that. I'm not going to give up on that. I'm getting you to do that. It's a planet of people that were made for each other. There's not a lot to do down here, and what we are made to do would make us happy. What we are made to do down here would make us happy, does make us happy. There's too much interference. There was less interference, that's why people have a fondness for the past and nostalgia for a time when they weren't alive. And as we're being socially engineered and refined, it's making the young people miserable. I sympathize with them the most because this is the world they're growing up into. The world where they took away the movies and the GameStop and the going out. I'm really angry about it. Anger, it's justified anger. You know when Jesus went in to his father's house and it was a market and there's merchants and coins and he went crazy? And you're like, whoa, why'd you do that? It's something worth being mad about. They're ruining the future for the people who inherit this earth. And I'm one of the old people on the way out. I'll fight for the young people that I don't even know, that don't even like me, to call me the old man, or the boomer, or the Logan's Run guy trying to escape it because I'm over 30, or whatever the hell it is. Whatever it is doesn't matter. I know what's been done to them. That's why they behave like assholes like that. They don't know that they've been socially engineered and programmed. But I'm old enough to know better. So they're being inherited, they're giving... We're now, young people are inheriting a world that no one needs to steward because they're trying to tell us we're obsolete. And we're not. We're made for each other and we're supposed to steward this planet. So they're saying we'll have a system that will manage everything and you go along with it. And that's what we don't want. It's the battle for the planet, like I've always been saying on this channel. And the battle for the planet is to prevent men and women from being together so we cannot have our inheritance of stewardship of this planet that was given to us from the beginning by our Father and started with Adam and Eve, but began before him with his only begotten Son, before Jesus came in that physical form on earth, the true and God, the Holy Trinity. God the Father, Jesus his only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. And here's all of us down here. Get it together. You're probably way more together than me. I have a lot of, I have commenters and subscribers that I happen to know are more together than me on this stuff, but I know I have way about myself. That's another thing I offer. We think, women, somebody out there, I'm looking for the love of my life for the end of the world so we can have eternity together somewhere. I'm looking for my Kindlemane. Where are you, beautiful Russian woman? Come on. It doesn't have to be Russian. They're too shit testy. I don't need that. I can live up to it. I know I can. I just watch my father do it to this fucking day. He's too old to be shit tested still. It's insane. I'm not having that. But anyway, I'm looking for love. This is my personal ad. Get this out there. Make sure as many people see it as possible. Christian Mingle, whatever. You put me on there. You do it. Find me a woman. I don't know what you want to do about babies. It's probably not the best time. Or maybe it's a time more than ever when they tell people, I don't know. I don't know what legally I can say, but in the time when they tell people to keep social distances and stay home, I can't help but think there's a whole lot of fucking going on. People are like, we just won't tell anybody we're fucking and trying to get sick. I don't know. They're not fornicating. I hope those people are married. It's important that way. So, I will leave you with this. Bless you. Hi, you're watching the outtakes. Open up, bitch. No. You fucking faggot. Give me that, you. Out of here, you. Man. Oh, I'm dressed up. This is my, spring has sprung and love is in the air. And I guess, I don't know, maybe part of it will be like a personal ad or something. Like, hey, it's spring. It's when time when people meet and fall in love, and it's great. So, hashtag me too. Oh, wait. It doesn't matter. Look. Yeah, I mean, it's spring, right? It's the most natural thing, isn't it, then, that some would even say it was designed by God that everything should fall in love in the spring. Just like every cartoon that used to be in history in the past when things would fall in love, and it's like, oh, look, Bambi and all his friends, it's been one season, so they're now gonna, they get Twitter pated. It's about fucking in Disney. They were juvenile about it. Or no, that's why they got busted, because who they were doing it to was juveniles. That's what I meant. I'm kidding, they got away with all of it. Yeah. Oh, I forgot I was gonna, let me pick out a tie. I don't think I have much of a choice. There you go. Give me that shit. I know, it's pink. Look, it's what's in season. I mean, like actually in season. This is the Shadowlands, or I'm gonna shadow ban. What do you think of it now in terms of, like, we've had 10 years of movies telling us, like, hey, we're gonna make a show called Preppers to make fun of all that and tape knives to doors and make people think like that and weird like that when they're isolated and alone, because people are like that, and they'll make that show. We have The Walking Dead for a decade. You have The Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, and thank you again, Japan, for giving us everything that socially engineers the world, and America says, okay, we'll water it down and make it into this, and then shit it out all over everything because the Disney. I don't know who owns Hunger Games. It's all Disney now, right? Wasn't that Fox? So the point is, it's dystopia, and I guess like certain agendas that want things done within the next 10 years are like, yeah, let's just send out the tweet that just says like shut it down and make everybody turn to weird xenophobes and think that without, like, it's just, you know, it's weird. And when? In spring, when people are supposed to get close, no getting close, nobody's going anywhere to meet or do anything, because what do I always say on these shows? Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. It was written in 1932, and people don't love each other anymore. Men and women aren't allowed to be together in George Orwell's 1984. 1984, George Orwell's 1984, where Julia and Winston have to go to re-education camps because they got caught kissing, and more. And then, you know, we lived in a society that just before the flu season was all about, oh, you gotta eat the butthole, you're not a man if you don't have shit on your nose, Joe. All that kind of nonsense. Now what about it? That's why there's such a premium on sanitizer and hand wipes. These guys just won't quit. Why do you have to eat where that's not food anymore then? It's dirt, it's supposed to go in the ground. I know, whatever. Yes, yeah, even people that are together are being encouraged to keep distance. So I went to the supermarket, and there was tape on the floor. It was well done. It was nice laid tape. Between each person that goes shopping, this is the kind of stuff that all of us assholes joked about, made fun of, and like, they're doing this, and they're doing it, and now look. So, what else do I want to point out? That there's a thing called the Gothard Tunnel Celebration, and it cost 8 million euros to put on that one-time only performance for some of the richest people in the world, who paid for the longest underground tunnel in the world in Switzerland, which is mostly used to transport supplies to the CERN Hadron Collider, which is built on a spot, which is considered to be the biblical portal to Abaddon, which is somehow a way they could contact the devil. So I'm just want to say that the people who are in charge believe that, and what we have, we live on a planet, I say it's planet daddy issue. Why do I say that? When I say that, you don't understand, I'm the patron saint of marriage, and my wife is the patron saint of marriage, and together we stand for, there need to be saints in the world. I mean, I LARP, but I mean, I take it seriously. There needs to be the idea that a man and woman together is divine. It's meant to be, it's the thing. All right, because it's how we all get here. And what have I been saying for years? We need an example of who to be and who to find. Why? For a piece of ass, a piece of land. For what? For peace of mind. For why? For peace on earth. For who? For all mankind. For all of us. Right? So, there's plenty of room. We should spread out. And instead, well, they're spreading us out and they're saying stay home. And that's the other thing I always talk about. I'm not even using my props today. This is more focused on me, how handsome I am and everything. And all Vaporwave or Spencer's Gifties or whatever you want to call that. That I am. That one Bjork video. So look, the future wants everybody isolated and alone. And if you want to do anything or participate, you've got to be like everything. Like all your movies you complained about, like hating. And I said, hey, get ready, the next 10 years, this is not going to stop. That's what I meant. Stay home and get propagandized too, because there's a young generation that's either you or not you, and they want you to be programmed, and they want the older generation to say, we have nothing for you, we don't care. It's Logan's Run. We only care for people to the usefulness up to the age of 30, and then we're done with them. And isn't that the same age when women hit the wall? Isn't it weird how Logan's Run says that like life ends at 30, all right? And then that's also when women hit the wall. Not 35, 30. 30 is when I hit the wall. 35 is still baby fever. There's not anything wrong with that. It's the most natural impulse for a woman to want to have a baby. And when you get older, you get, you know, you have long suffering, you get discernment, and you get wiser, and you want to have a baby. And, you know, if you want, you should be able to, but I don't know if you should. I need a drink, hold on. So, maybe an inferior version of this down below, like a Teespring thing. I don't know, maybe someday that will happen. I don't know who would buy it, it'd just be fun to see down there. So, yeah, I talk about Planet Daddy issue. I talk about people denying the Father. If that's not what we got, why do we have one side of people that pay for the CERN Hadron Collider and all that stuff, and all the other stuff that you always hear about the blood drinking, all the grossness, all right? And then everything in movies and TV says reject the father figure, has to go, the male archetype, destroy the patriarchy, because that's where we live, and I don't care if you don't like it anymore. We have God the Father and Jesus, His only begotten Son. There's a math to the Bible. There really is. It's not just history, all right? Not only. There's a math and a mechanics to where we live and how things work. And a lot of it is like, wow, I'm not that advanced with it. But you don't need to be. I know, you're like, oh, is he really bringing out the Bible again? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. This is where we live, all right? We live down here. We have choices to make. Are we going to let the goodness in us shine, which you will just allow it. When you're having those impulses of like, I should do the right thing, just do that. Just do that. That's as simple advice I can give you in these times. Like, if there's an old lady and for 2 days you've heard her saying, please help, my dresser fell on me, and nobody in the building will help her, all right? And you're like, but she's getting older and sicker. It's been 2 days. She shit herself. Just be the one to go over there and put a plastic bag over your head or something. Poke eye holes, whatever. Do something. I don't know. I just pull your collar. I can't do it with this, but why don't you just pull your hoodie up over your face and go lift the dresser off the old lady, and then, you know, talk to her or something. It's gonna be, they want people to be shut-ins, they want people to get weird. Why? All these movies we've had a solid decade now, and more, but let's look at what we've had over the last 10 years. We've had, thanks again Japan, for Battle Royale, the movie that was banned pretty much everywhere because it was Hunger Games, and then they made Hunger Games, so they're like, well, I guess you could have Battle Royale. And then, so thanks Japan for that, okay? So then there's Hunger Games, and thanks Hunger Games for Maze Runner, The 100, and all your different types of dystopias. The Walking Dead, where we eat each other, where there's some of us that are just so far gone that we eat each other, and don't worry, they're fixing the schools while the kids are gone. They're updating the internet for the kids at school. At some point, I can't help but think that there has to be a win for the good guys, and that there's some kind of power in ceaseless prayer to say, make this one fail, make this one fail. All this stuff they're trying to do, when people work at places and drive trucks back and forth and work at the shipping, and they know that it's possible, like, hey, everything could be going on great, this is weird, and you got people are gonna behave differently after this, but here's maybe something you could pray for to make it work, okay? I'm not kidding. It's always possible for people to figure out ways to, like, even the best laid plans. Doesn't matter if I always told you about, look at this, it's a big new Brzezinski, between two ages and all that stuff, the coming technotronic era, but I always say technocracy, because I thought that's what it said in the book, but I mean, that's been said other places, they talk about the technocracy. I said, hey, you're soaking in it. Oh no, it's nothing, like it's really coming on full, like whatever China has, you know, take that however you want, whatever they have, they want the whole world to have it. It's contagious and it's never gonna go away forever. Achoo! Chinese social credit system, but it's just globalization, you know, but like China's already ironed out all that stuff. So now love has to go away because it's a germ. Love is a germ, love is a virus. Even people who are together are supposed to stay in separate rooms. Hey, they were doing that anyway. I used to go over to people's houses to visit them, and then in olden days they'd turn on the TV, and I'm like, what's that about? How come I go to somebody's house and they turn the fucking TV on? It wasn't on before. Why do you turn it on when we come over so we can talk? Doesn't make any sense. Well, maybe if it's a shitty apartment and you don't want anybody, your neighbors hearing what you talk about, because you would. That's actually a good reason, okay? But there's other stuff now, like, do you have devices? Do you have an Alexa, a Siri? Do you have a Cortana? What do you call yours? I know you're in love with it. What do you call yours? Oh, her? Like the movie? That's lame. Whatever. Get out of here, rookie. Rising from the ash phoenix. So anyway, spring is sprung and love is in the air. So cover up your face and be safe. I was at the store and I was talking to an 80-year-old man. And I don't know why, but people pick to talk to me in the store and they get close because I guess I invited or whatever. I shouldn't be saying these things. So anyway, let's just say these are fictional stories. These are just my LARPs I'm talking about here. So anyway, I'm at the store and the guy tells me he's 80 years old and he said he remembers this isn't waiting in line to check out. He said, and we're not, this is a different store. This is not 6 feet apart. Remember I said 6 feet apart? This is a different store. So we're in line and he starts telling me he remembers polio, swine, and I said, I'm the one that added swine flu. And he's like, yes. And he said, yeah, now this. So he'd lived through similar things before. And again, the guy, he was 80 years old. And then the lady at the register who was wearing like winter gloves, like with the fingers, but they're like winter mittens with the fingers. So she'd have as much distance between, like, give me the thickest fucking gloves and put them on. So that's how she handled the money and everything. And she was like, excuse me. She's like, we were told how to behave. This is true. And she's like, we have to tell you, she didn't say it like that, but she's like, we were told that we have to tell everybody to like keep the distance apart. So now they're telling the cashiers to enforce like, don't talk to each other when you check out. All right. And this guy, I don't know, he was tall. How's he gonna be close to anybody anyway? He was really tall. A tall 80-year-old man. They don't make them like that anymore. It's like the newer stock of people is all weak, and if they are big, they have oxytocin tits from the hormones they put in milk. It's true. It happened first in Mexico. It was an epidemic of little boys that had big titties. And like, why? And like, well, because they put all these hormones in the cows to make them produce more milk, and they're female hormones. The cows are making the kids have beefy tits. Moobs. And it comes from milk. So now you know. And I never had to date again. So anyway, allow me to pour some libations because I need a drink. I still think that there may be there's a little bit of blood in my alcohol. I'm gonna take care of that now. It's the only way to survive. It's cabin fever. You gotta stay drunk. You gotta stay xenophobe. You gotta smoke your super strains and get really paranoid. And then, I don't know. If you smoke a lot, it curbs your appetite. You won't need to eat. It conserves resources, but then, what are you gonna do when you run out? Oh no, man! You're gonna hotbox yourself into getting it. Into getting the invisible threat that could come back at any time, and we don't know what it's gonna do, but we'll do anything that it takes. Brzezinski, Bernays, God bless you. Go lay down, go away. We'll take care of everything. It'll be great. No. Now's the time to find out that there's goodness in us, and I believe that we are good. So here's my kind of, not just wishful thinking, put it into prayer. It matters. Okay? I butchered this episode. Fuck. Put it into prayer. That, you know, like, what do you got? You're like, oh, I'll survive everything with this forever, and then just start feeding each other and expose the bullshit that look, this episode's fucked too. I can't do anything. I keep trying to do this episode. I keep trying to do it. I just don't like it. Give me that. I need that. Get out of here, you knucklehead. Spring has sprung, and love is in the air. And this is the time of the year, just like all the old cartoons tell you, when everything gets Twitter-pated and people fall in love because it was made that way by design. Spring is sprung, it's warm, the sun is out longer. People meet, they get together, they fall in love. Anyway, I'm gonna use this episode as my own sort of like personal ad. I'll tell some things about me. I'm gonna talk about love. It's very interesting that this episode exists because of what today is for me. There's a thing called the anniversary of pain. Is this even funny anymore? Did you pay attention to the shit that I've been pulling for years? Stuff I've been saying on the show? Anyway, I want to talk about love and the reason for this episode, sort of. I woke up in the morning and I remembered I had a nightmare. And the nightmare was, for some reason, I was in my father's house and I was kicking a way ancient ex out of there from like 20 years ago, 18. And I was kicking her out of my father's house. This is a dream when I put my head in my pillow. And I said, get out of my house and you can't live here, and take all your shit and get out. And then I remembered that was a dream I had, and I looked at the calendar and I'm like, oh, this is the day you met that woman. An anniversary of pain on the day when you met somebody. Not an anniversary of pain on the day when like grandpa died, or your friend or somebody you loved, or you were in a horrible thing that happened to you, a trauma incidents. That's what a memory of pain is, or what do you call that? What did I just call it? Yeah, the anniversary of pain. There's a trauma that happened on a certain day in the year, and when that day comes up again, you can't figure out what's going on, usually because you're a dude, or if you do remember, you're like, oh yes, this is the baby died in that room that day. Remember that from Annie Milanakis? Terrible day. But you didn't know that. You just knew, like, man, something's off. You're like, oh yeah, that's the day, you know, that mommy came home with an abortion in a basket or something. So, this is a dating episode. I'm trying to find sprinkles and I keep grabbing everything but. You have to be quarantined and taste. These aren't expensive, but it's little things like this that can add so much to, I don't know, fake oatmeal as ice cream or whatever they're selling to people now. So, I woke up this morning and I remembered that this is the day that we should celebrate when we met. I don't go around pining over old loves or anything like that, because like I said, it didn't work out. I would have tried to keep one of them if they were any good. You know, if we were good for each other. So, yeah. I woke up and I'm like, why am I dreaming about her? And I looked, I mean, I knew what day it was, but I'm like, I look at the calendar, I'm like, yeah, that's the day we used to celebrate that we met, because it was a long-term relationship. Not a wedding anniversary, but it was the day that we met. It was a wife thing, okay? So it was a long-term relationship. And I had a nightmare about the day that I met her, which we used to celebrate every year. That's when we met. That's when we first met. That's 18 years. That's a long time ago. But it's spring. And I know people hate it when I eat. But some people liked cereal with Scott. I liked cereal with Scott. I didn't look very handsome. Those are some of my ugliest, most unattractive episodes. And this one, I wanted to dress up nice for you, but also a little bit I wanted to be silly. So we have orange beanie, like Power Rapper the Rapper. There's something famous about orange beanies in cinema history, and it goes way back, but let's just stop at Cheech from Cheech and Chong. He used to wear orange beanie. And so is Power Rapper the Rapper. And so is Hide Wars. And look at the orange beanie. I know what mine is. If it's the blacklight head shop 1960s LED acid trip big pharma colors they want you to see for the future. Remember? But let's keep it focused on love. Because I feel like the dream I had was me letting go. I mean, it happened on the day. What's another anniversary of pain? This is when so-and-so died or had a heart attack. Those are big ones, like when something happened or like a tragic event. And this was just meeting the person. I don't know what it means. I'm not trying to get into like self-help, new age stuff. I don't have an answer to it. But I also had a dream that a girlfriend was cheating on me. She was cheating on me. So, what about me that anyone would be interested in? That I think a woman might want to hear about me? And if this doesn't mean anything to her, you're not my kind of woman. So, dudes, I know what my demographics, my analytics are. I know what my analytics are. I know that there are some women here, and leave comments, and thank you for that. But it's mostly dudes, so you can listen to this too, even though I'm saying this basically to impress women. I'm saying the things that I think that might be impressive to women that I did. For the last 15 years, this even went so far as me helping to co-found, being way out of my ability to know what the hell I was doing, but just stayed the course, kept a nonprofit organization, an international nonprofit organization, to help people have a self-sufficient family homestead. Now, what do you think if I could have been successful on a world stage? I'm not kidding. If I had been successful on the world stage, which is ridiculous, worthy of ridicule, of getting people to think of self-sufficient family homesteads like neighborhoods would have them, and it's everything I talk about on this channel. Instead of pushing people closer together, we could spread out. Because I know that the richest people in the world own everything, and they're saying, everybody, you stay off of it. We're gonna open up the zoos, and you guys are gonna get into even smaller cities and blah, blah, blah. And it's all the stuff they put in the movies and the TV shows, and all stuff they want to do to us and everything that makes us fearful. And what do I always say on this channel? It's Planet Daddy issue, and men and women were made for each other, and they want to keep us apart, and spring has sprung. And now, you become like on a love quest in a Tex Avery cartoon, where you don't know what's going on underneath Lena the hyena's veil there. Oh, look at her guy, look at she has beautiful eyes. Maybe that's the love of my life. How can you tell? You can't see her face. Oh, so let me go back, things I've done. So for the last 15 years, I got people interested, not in sustainability where you have to be limited and lack, self-sufficient family homesteads. The kind of stuff that people are partly interested in now. Chicken coops with eggs and eating the eggs that they grow, and organic gardening. It's taking people's natural impulses to farm and toil the soil and provide their own food, and still trying to make it fit New World Order veganism stuff, and they're trying to make, like I met a lot of these people. And some of them will eat meat like you're supposed to, some of them don't want to eat meat. But the point is, my balls. I can't stop the episode this far in. Motherfucker. I started the episode already. Ah! Like Charlie fucking Brown. Spring has sprung, and it's a time for lovers, and love's in the air. And lowered expectations. This is my dating commercial. Ah, I forgot to, let me pick a tie, hold on. Yoink. Okay, get this shit out of here. Hey, it's what's in season. You know, it's not about fashion. It's about, there we go, it's what's in bloom. There we go, let's stay. Hey, it's just, I said I want to wear a tie, I got a tie. Don't give me shit about a pink tie. Did I get all the, okay. So, yeah. I mean, it's time for love. And what do I always talk about in this channel? Like, I might as well do my personal ad now. Alright? So, if men are watching this, maybe they can, maybe this is something you can learn about women, what you have to say about yourself. And for women, hey, this is my personal ad. This is my Jimmy James wife search. It's spring. That's the time for lovers are supposed to meet. This goes out digitally, globally. Alright? And I know I have somebody behind the scenes at YouTube looking through the comments. So I want you to leave your comments. Any potential suitors? No, not the suitors. That's the men. What's the woman? Any potential wives only? Dudes with advice? I don't know. What do you think? Should I get a haircut? Does it look like I just came back from doing a wedding or a party or something like that? What do you think about the mug? Yeah, do you want one of these? Maybe I can do a Teesprings? No, I'm not trying to sell anything, don't worry about it. But I may put that down there if it's free to just set it up. I may just have it down there. I don't know why. I don't know if you need one of them. But I think you do need love. Why do I say that? It's one of the main things of this channel. I said men and women were made for each other, And we need an example of who to be and who to find for peace on earth for all mankind, because they meet up and they're supposed to stay together for a lifetime and do world building. That's what I believe about men and women. Why? Because they raise the next generation of people, and if they stay together, they become grandparents, and those grandparents can offer advice to their kids that grew up who are now becoming parents because they lived through it with all the kids they raised, because a lot of people have brothers and sisters in their family. They're not only children. So the parents would know about raising multiple kids and their grandparents. It's not a circle of life, but it's a path of it. It's the path from baby to old person. It's great. You're supposed to enjoy all the stages. And everybody has this. I say it all the time. Everybody has this +1 thing they want. So the battle for the planet is like men and women were made for each other. So find a way to stay together, because men would do anything for their women and women would do anything for their man. Once they have that connection and bond that's supposed to be true, lasting, and lifelong. This is true. This is what we're here for. Right? But we get it all wrong. When everything could be so right, especially, in trying times, to be together rather than be apart. Right? So, what do you think about that? I don't know how to do this. Spring has sprung, and love is in the air, and lowered expectations. Remember that from Mad TV? You can find it on YouTube. It was like bad dating. I forgot to put the tie in. Hold on, let me pick a tie. Yoink. Okay, get this shit off of there. Hey, don't give me this is what we've got. It's what's in season. It's what's in bloom, rather. So this will be our tie for today's episode. I'm not going to do a dating profile and wear a bloody tie. That's some weirdo stuff. I'm not looking for a woman like that. Not necessarily looking for a woman with wants a pink tie, man. Alright, but this look. So, what can this episode be? Part dating profile. Part let's talk about the things of love and all the stuff that I think that's important about the love between men and women and why it's so important and vital to life and our existence down here. And all anybody wants is their +1 to pair up with. Why? So they can build a lifetime together and have peace of this planet, to steward as their own. These are all these things that I believe. I believe men and women were made for each other. We need an example of who to be and who to find, because that's who's down here. We got men and women, and we rule this planet, right? We put animals in zoos, all that stuff. We make boats, we sail on top of the ocean, everything. We fly around in the sky. So it's ours, right? This whole earth is ours. So men and women were made for each other, not to do Minecraft in separate rooms or different phone apps, but together, men and women getting together, staying together, falling in love. It's the most basic thing. And why else? Why staying together? So you could, so that the next generation always comes up properly, right? Look at all the stuff we built. This is a lifetime we built. Now we're getting old, and you become grandparents so that your children that have now grown have someone who can give them wisdom, guidance, and advice, all right, for raising their own children, so that the next generation, your children's children, get to be raised properly. And it just goes on and on and on. It's enough for anybody, and I think it's enough to make everybody happy for a lifetime. And I don't know. I do know a lot of people seem to have trouble finding somebody or anybody anymore. And even though we meet so many people and try in so many bodies, it's different now somehow. But I still can't help but think that spring has sprung, and it's a time for lovers. So this is still the most springiest spring, perhaps, of those yet to come. So those, who are in love with the idea of love for another, maybe now it's the best time to find each other. Could be. I don't know. What is something about me now? Something personal. I know that I can make beautiful progeny. All right. I don't know what you bring to the table, but I got pretty lucky when I got married. So my progeny are so beautiful that their career aspirations are being squashed right now. So that's one thing I say about me. Another thing, something I really like, is the idea that you don't have to say anything. In the morning, if you wake up every morning for like a week or something, and I'm like, what is she looking at? And you're looking out the window, and I'm like, what is she looking out there? And I find out what it is. Oh, the mountain. You don't like that mountain over there? I wouldn't even say anything to you. It'd be the only one morning I wasn't there when you woke up. And then you look out that window because you hear the noise and you're like, what is he doing? Moving that mountain? How did he know? Or I'd be excavating that mountain to plant blossoms on it so that all the different times of the year there'd be something flowering or coming into flowering. So it'd be more pleasant to look at. And evergreens in the winter in between, wherever, however it works. All right, I don't know what the region is where I'm living in my perfect family homestead with the love of my life. Those are the kind of things I think about. What else can I say about myself? I know about permaculture, it's permanent agriculture, it's growing food. I know about wild edibles and foraging. I'll kill animals for you and process them. You don't have to do that, but you should learn anyway. I would teach you everything that I could do. I know some martial arts. I know some stuff with weapons. We're good. What else? I have a fear and a love and a reverence of my Father, my Lord, and His Holy Spirit down here where we live. All those things matter to me. It'd be great to have a wife where we could pray together all day long. Like, wouldn't it be great to just be in constant communion with our Father back and forth? That doesn't appeal to you. You know, get out of here. That kind of thing. It's not weird at all. It's not, people just don't get what we're here for. I don't know, that's enough about me. That's enough to get rid of most women, I think, and leave only that. Separate the wheat from the shaft. The wheat is the staff of life. And these are the qualities I would see in a wife. I'm good with rhyming on the fly. I don't want to rhyme right now, though. I don't know why. I guess for fear of failure. Yeah, freestyles. I don't listen to hip hop. I don't like. I care about music. I do believe a man and a woman together, one flesh. They would do anything for each other. I think it's the most powerful thing on the planet. This is more about love. It's like everything that I made this channel about until I deleted all my videos. All right, but what I always said was, men and women were made for each other, and they pair up. And it's world building. You're supposed to build a lifetime with someone. And you can't do that if you keep breaking up with people, and you can't just stay with somebody where you can't build anything. That's why people break up. So these are tools. This is discernment. You have to develop this yourself. However, maybe through long suffering. I hope not. What else? Things about love. That would be for anyone. Yeah. I mean, everybody says it's about trust. Yeah, it really is. The man has to lead. I do believe that. And he does it because of and for the woman, because he would die for her. That doesn't mean the woman's less than the man. It really doesn't. It's just, she's the thing that is she's the value that's worth protecting. To be crude about it, it's the woman, it's the womb, it's the woman that chose you as her man. You would die for this woman. I didn't even have a good wife, but everybody else told me. I would have died for that woman. I'd gotten in dumb situations like, that's what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And a woman that didn't even like me. And I married, I'm kidding. You know, but, so divorced, that's another thing about me. I'm a dad, all my progeny are grown. Is it safe to do it now? Depends on what part of the realm of the shadow band, realm of the shadowlands, realm of the shadow band we're in, whatever. I've been warning and talking about a lot of stuff for years, so I know about that stuff. So it may make navigating the future easier, even without internet or whatever. Is that something that should be put in an episode like this? I don't know. I know about tools and working things and cutting, and I know what they are, I know where they go, I know what to do with them, I know the difference between wood screws and roofing nails and all that shit. So these things are important. Water, plumbing, I can do basics of that kind of stuff. Maybe a little bit more than basics, considering what people may consider basics of knowing about plumbing these days. In your own domicile or home, or wherever you live. Your life pod. I'm an artist, creative type guy. I can make all kinds, I can MacGyver stuff out of anything. If you don't know what MacGyver is, it means resourcefulness and life hacks. Oh, I'm so full of life hacks. I got them all, not all of them. I've got more life hacks than internet hacks. I'm computer savvy enough, and I know what it's like to stretch resources. Boy, it's a weird dating profile in this day and age, is it not? I could probably train a woman to have enough time to get away from a man before the adrenaline kicks in, or at least something to take him down so he can't stand up again. But you'd be surprised what people can do when they just get adrenalized. They'll come after you on one leg just to tear you apart. So anyway, we'll work on that one. I got to see what I'm working with. I don't know what kind of wife. I don't know what you bring to the table. All right. And if you're a meaty gal, then then it's all about standing your ground and stuff like that, because you're not gonna be able to run away. You're just gonna have to take him down. So we can learn these things. I know maybe I don't look like a guy that just came back from the weddings or whatever. Hey, could be. Actually, I never wore this for that. But I want to dress nice. Right? This is a special episode. It's a dating profile. It's about love. It's a plan of men and women that were made for each other. So, you know, like it's just like, it's this impossible thing. Like their forces are made to be together, because it's this whole planet is made up for men and women to come together to create babies to steward the place so that there's more men and women. And there's so many of us so that we can't possibly be related to each other, except that we're all related to each other because we're all men and women, and we're all supposed to be in charge of this planet. And all the kind of stuff that I talk about in other episodes, which doesn't matter because it's just for subscribers and stuff. It's like any new people are watching this. So anyway, what else can we say about love or dating profile? About me? I said enough about me. I know about camping. I grew up with that stuff. I know about gardening. I grew up with that stuff. I know about animal husbandry. I grew up with that stuff. I collected eggs when I was a kid. I did all that stuff. My dad would cut the heads off and they would run around the yard. It's true. All that shit. Plucking feathers off a chicken sucks. I'd rather get eggs than kill chickens or ducks. Whatever it is. Whatever baby needs. Baby has to stay in the other corner of the room and I have to stay in this corner of the room. What do you want? I'm gonna go process meat for you, woman. What else? I know about building forts and shelters and lean-tos, and that extends into adulthood with carpentry and fixing leaks and things like that, and creative mind. I could paint and draw. I could paint your portrait. I like the scene, the sexy scene from the Titanic where he draws Kate Winslet naked or whatever. I could draw Kate Winslet naked. So what else? I don't want to really. I know about women. I know about my Eternal Sunshine and the Darling Clementine girls. I know about my Alley Cat girls. Not really what I'm looking for anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. Be cleansed, be purified. I do believe that people we're made to be together for life. They're supposed to be lifelong mates. And because you could build a lifetime together with somebody. I know this maybe sound crazy, but I've seen it. I know people who live it still. They're dying out. That's what they want. They want that to be like, forget about that, everybody. So I'm just trying to hold to this mantle that I've given myself at the behest of no one, to be called champion of love. I am the champion of love. Why? Because I'm telling you, I've been saying it on this channel for years, even though the videos are gone. Men and women were just made for each other. We're made for each other. We're made to find each other and stay together. And it's hard to do when we swap bodies so much, and there's like chemicals for bonding that are released. And that's why there's like, hey, don't just sleep around. Get to know somebody. And then if you like them, then that can be your legally sanctioned by God married carnality. And even then, personal note about me, I've done pretty much everything that you'd want to do. I never involved other dudes. I don't have any weird fetishes or things that need to be done. I don't really think about getting off so much. It's more about I'm not going to get creepy about it. Yeah, I don't care about this, like, oh, come on, we got to do this disgusting act or whatever. I'm begging for sex. I don't do that. You'll be more begging for me, like, is he like me? Is something wrong? Is everything okay? I'd be more like that. But hey, in this world we're heading into, I don't know if it's okay for me to say things like that, so I want to say stay safe. You can love each other digitally somehow. I don't mean with fingers or no touching. You know that for first. From across, I mean like online or something, right? All right. So yes, this is my Jimmy James wife quest. If you're familiar with what that means, it was a rich guy on a TV show and he was always looking for a wife, so he would use his radio station as media means to advertise that he was single. So I just said, I'm gonna use YouTube for that, because nobody remembers that show anymore. But it's like the anus out of which Joe Rogan was birthed. Yeah, he came from that show, News Radio. I know you like to watch that guy. So anyway, this is about love. Forget about that guy. So, yeah, I know how to cook. I know how to do all the things basically that a woman does in a marriage, because I had to do them alone with progeny that I raised by myself. Raised progeny by myself, not with a wife. I had a lot of adult responsibilities thrust upon me young in life. So there you go. That's a good thing to have lived with. I don't know if I've had long suffering. Doubtful. Do I have discernment? Yes, I would say some. Do I have wisdom? I know where to go for wisdom. I ask wisdom for wisdom. That's where wisdom comes from, right to the source of wisdom. If you know what that means, great. Woman, you're for me. If you don't know what that means right away, don't bother finding out, because I don't know how you would figure it out. You ask wisdom. You go to wisdom for wisdom. Where's the source of wisdom? You're done. What do I always say on my channel? I have thumbnails for this. Well, man without a pop culture, sure. Extreme narcissism, yeah, this is my dating profile. But also I say it's Planet Daddy issue. Call your father. That's a big deal. Why? I think people are unhappy and miserable without God. It's a huge dimension to life, and it's reflected in the way that they comment to me. What do you want me to say? It's important. That's where we live. It'd be good to have somebody that knows about that. And it'd be good to be somebody that knows about that. Why is it so hard that you couldn't just try it and say, God, Father, please hear me, and then just talk, see what happens? I don't know. So I won't go on that too much. Just keep it focused on love. We can't have love. That's the source of it all. That's our Father, God the Father, and Jesus, the Holy Spirit, for us. Man and woman made for each other. Minecraft? Ha! We didn't need GameStop, okay? I know it seems traumatizing now, but this is about love, okay? Men and women made for each other. And you know that stuff is all the other stuff can go to shit. That's why it's so important now to keep our eyes, mind, heart, heads, and hands on the things of love, But of course we have to be safe. And should be having sex anyway, but you know what I mean. So, yeah. People are supposed to like each other and pair up, pair off, and grab a piece of this planet and do something. So yeah, I don't know what kind of idea that is now in this day and age, but it is kind of like, what's the height, what's the ultimate? That would be it. And fresh air, clean water, fresh air to breathe, clean water to drink, and the trees and plants that provide those things, to be surrounded in the womb of nature. Oh, I think that's the way for everybody. Everybody would like to have a nice little place of their own, mark their territory, put a fence around it or something, and then there's your house in the middle. Nice. Outside, food, things to grow that are good, fruit trees, nut trees. Nut trees take time to grow. Sometimes lifetime. You only get to have those walnuts maybe in old age, depending on how your walnut trees are. Apples, lifetime. Wouldn't it be good to go outside and have good things to eat? I don't know, this episode sucks. What else? I don't know. I don't have a gut or a belly or anything like that. I don't think I'll ever have one either. Just some people are just built that way. I don't got it. So that's a plus about physicality. I'm not going to go into I'm not going to be gross or crude or vulgar or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Shit. What do you think about love? I don't know, maybe this is one where I need help from comments, and I'm like, oh, this comments people left on this episode about love and all that stuff and finding love. I had no plan for this. And then the comments can be a whole other episode. This sucks. I don't know.